Lord, I want to have a fruitful life. I was reading a few meditations today where ultimately was describing a fruitful life, joy filled. You know what it didn't say? It did not say you're going to have a bunch of money. No. To have a fruitful and joyful life, it doesn't say you're gonna have a bunch of material stuff, or that you're gonna be famous, or that everybody's gonna love you. No. To have a fruitful and joy-filled life is to do God's will. That's what it said. Well, how do we do God's will? Well, that's the $1,000,000 question, right? It starts off with your relationship with God. What relationship do you have? Do you have one where you talk to him every once in a while, and when you do talk to him, you're kind of whining and complaining? Or is it one that every day you just thank him for everything that you have and everything that you're going through? Even if what you're going through seems to be terrible, because it's suffering, because it's got a bunch of anguish in there, and it's and you're misunderstood, and nobody likes you, and you ain't got no money, and all this kind of stuff. But you still turn around and you say, God, thank you for today, and I trust in you. Guide me to do your will, and I'm happy to do with whatever you ask, even if I have to suffer through it. Pope. Now that's a relationship. People that are married and have kids probably, hopefully, know what I just said is true. Because it's not easy to have a strong relationship, one that is bound by God. It's the most difficult thing to do, is to keep going in the midst of the pain and the suffering. But when you thank God, there's this relief that he has full control, and that you don't have to have control. And we are a control-driven society. Everywhere you see, you got to have this control, that control. You got to control yourself. You got to do this. And I even use the word control because, you got to control your emotions, and you control how much skill set you acquire and develop. You control what time you wake up in the morning. So you have some control, yes. In the grand scheme of things, you hardly have any of it. But what you do with yourself and your mind and your thoughts and all these things, I have control over how long I'm going to grow this beard. My wife wishes she has control over that. Just joking. So, giving it up to God is a strong relationship bond. Talking to him minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day is developing a strong relationship. And that's when you know your prayers are heard. That's when you know you're ultimately going to do God's will, is whenever you work on that relationship. Because even if we're all sinners, so even if you go sin, because we all mess up, he'll continue to guide you along the right path. And you just have to recognize those pains. That's why living a life within sanctifying grace and having your soul cleansed is such a big deal and an important thing. But even if even if you are just developing that relationship, he'll lead you that way. Like when you start conversing, he'll pull you to him, because he's doing that naturally already to everybody. Our sin separates us from him, but we are still being pulled because he loves us so much. But love, let's not get it confused for being nice. No. Love is such a love is to always be truthful no matter how hard it is. And that's what God shows us. He shows that agape love, that, hey, I don't like you going through the pain and suffering, but it's necessary to form your character, especially to rely on me. We go through this pain and suffering because maybe we're not relying enough on God. It's okay to feel pain and suffering, but man, offering it up to him does such a big relief for you mentally and physically and even outwardly in the world, man. I'm telling you. I get into talks now with people who know things that I'm going through, in the sufferings that I go through, and they're like, man, how do you keep going, you know? And how do you even, like, can't even tell. And I read a quote recently: if you can get out of bed and nobody knows what you're going through because you gave it up, basically all up to God, and you don't have, and you just try as hard as you can every day, you're succeeding. God will provide. You just have to go and do and grow that relationship. But he will provide. And we're so short-sighted at times to think that this is the end, that's it, pull the plug, I'm done. But if he gave you another day and another breath and more breath in your lungs, and you can operate mentally and physically, because if you can't operate mentally and physically, he's going to help you the other way, you know, through doctors or through hospitals, all that kind of stuff. But all bad things come to an end, all good things come to an end, and you don't know what's good and you don't know what's bad for you. And so having faith is to have nothing and to keep going. Having faith is to have no reason to keep going, and yet you still grow that relationship and you still keep going. Because you always have a reason to keep going. You just can tell yourself sometimes, I don't have a reason. Well, if you are feeling these pangs and you are in need of a one-on-one, reach out to me. And I'm on this earth to help. And so I help people in business that's around me. I help people that live in the sober living recovery homes that we have. I help out my family. I help out my church. You know, we're all on this earth to lean and help each other. And so if you just at the very least need some prayers, just message me. Put in the comments, like and subscribe and all that fun jazz. And just keep going. Because if you're on earth, you got breath and you got a mind, you keep rocking and rolling. And you just ask God. And tell God. No, tell him. Hey, God, I want to do your will. What do you want me to do? I love you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, God bless. Have a great day.